Hello students, let us start our new session with the new topic, that is motion in combined electric and magnetic fields with velocity selector. So basically, as we know, over the charge both the fields can be affected. When the charge is static, only electric field is present, but when charge is moving, electric field is also available along with the electric field. So while both the fields are present over the charge, while the charge is moving with the velocity v, then total force F equals to Q into E plus V cross B, where Q into E gives a electric field force and Q into V cross B, that gives a magnetic field force. So we can say that both the forces are combined and present over the single charge. So we consider that, as we already discussed, electric field and magnetic field both must be perpendicular to each other and also perpendicular to the velocity of particle. It means all these three components must be perpendicular to each other. So while we have electric force Fe, that is QE. Now as shown in the figure, we can say that electric field is present over the y-axis. So over the y-axis we have the vector component J. So we can write that Fe equals to QE with the J caret vector component. And Fb, that is the magnetic force, is QV cross B. So velocity is available towards the x-axis, as we can observe through the diagram, and magnetic field B is present towards the z-axis. So we can define over here is V velocity with the I vector cross B magnetic field with the K vector, and while we are doing I cross K, that we have a minus J. If we have a K cross I, then it would be the plus J that we already know. So with that we can write a magnetic force is minus QB J caret. So therefore the total force is Q into E minus VB J caret. So thus electric and magnetic forces are in opposite direction, as we can observe through the diagram. Towards the y-axis electric force, towards the minus y-axis magnetic force, by combining velocity and magnetic field effect. So now we adjust the value of E and B in such a way that both the forces are equal. Then total force present over the charge, that should be 0. So charge will move in the field without a deflection. The charge is moving along the x-axis with the velocity y, and both the forces are affected towards the opposite direction in parallel to that, one towards the y-axis, another towards the minus y-axis. If any of the force is higher, Fe or Fb, then charge is moving in towards the higher force. But if both the forces are equal and opposite, then effect of the electric field force and magnetic field force is equivalent effect would be 0 over the charge. So that charge can move along the x-axis with the velocity v. So in this case, while we are equating Fe equal to Fb, so it would be Qe equal to Qvb. So my V equals to E by V. So my velocity of charge equals to E by B. This condition is used to select the charged particle of a particular velocity out of a beam containing charges moving with different speeds. This is irrespective of their charge and mass. So the E and B, these are the crossed fields. it can serve as a velocity selector. So only particles with the speed e by b can pass along a x-axis without a deflection in the region of crossed fields. This method was employed by J.J. Thomson in 1897 to measure the charge to mass ratio of an electron. This principle is also employed in mass spectrometer, that is a device is used to separate a charged particles, usually ions, according to their charge to mass ratio. Okay, now let us focus over the another topic, motion in combined electric and magnetic field with respect to the cyclotron. Earlier, the combined effect we have studied in the vector field. Now, in terms of cyclotron. So, cyclotron is basically the machine to accelerate charged particles or ions at high energies. And this is invented by Lorentz and Livingston in 1934 to investigate nuclear structure. So cyclotron uses both electric and magnetic fields in the combination to increase energy of charged particles. So basically this combined effect boosts up the energy of charged particle and can reach up to the nuclear structure, or we can say up to the nuclear energy. So as the fields are perpendicular to each other, they are called crossed fields, as we have studied in earlier topic. So cyclotron uses the fact that frequency of revolution of charged particle in a magnetic field is independent of its energy. Charge has its own energy, but it is not depending over its own energy when the frequency of revolution is higher. And this frequency is not depending on its own energy of the charge. So now, particle moves most of the time inside of the two semicircle discs as shown in the figure, noted as a D1 and D2, which is the metal container, and it is also known as a D-double-E, because that half circle or semicircle portion look like a D. So this D like metal structure is known as a Ds. One portion is defined as a D1, another portion is defined as a D2. Now inside these metal boxes like a D structure, the particle is shielded inside that D structure, and within that D structure it is not affected by electric field. In D1 itself, whatever the electron is present, so over this electric field is not affected, but magnetic field is affected. And magnetic field acts on the particle and it gives a force over the charged particle to move that charge from one D towards the another D in a circular path. I repeat, when electron is present inside of that same D, for example D1, so within a D1 electric field is not affected, but magnetic field is affected, and magnetic field gives a force on the particle to move it from one D to another D in this circular path. Every time this particle moves from one D to another D, while it changes its metal structure from D1 to D2, at that time electric field is affected. So electric field within that D is not affected, but while that D structure, or we can say from D1 to D2, particle is moving, it is acted upon the electric field. So the sign of the electric field is changed alternatively with the circular motion of the particle. This ensures that particle is always accelerated by the electric field. While from D1 to D2 is moving, it gives the electric field is affected, and while the electric field is present, electron gets a acceleration, and every time from D1 to D2 one acceleration, higher energy is there. Now from D2 to D1 it is coming back. So in this way acceleration is every time is increases as the energy is in acceleration is increases, so energy of the particle is increases. As the energy is increases over the particle, the radius of the circular path it is taken to move from one D to another D, it is also increases. And likewise, as we can see in the diagram, it is having a spiral kind of path. And this is evacuated to minimize the collision between ions and air molecules. So as we are providing a high frequency alternating voltage to the Ds as it is given from the oscillator. Oscillator is the device which can give alternating voltage. So if this oscillate through the oscillator, if we are providing a high frequency alternating voltage, so what will happen? Positive ions or positive particles, for example protons, are released from that oscillator at the center, which is denoted as a P. So they move in a semicircle path in one of the Ds and arrive in the gap between the Ds in a time interval T by 2. So as the force is given, energy is released at the center of the P. Now this P is affected through the electric field and magnetic field and take a semicircle path from one D to another D. Other time it gives the force, so it moves from second D to the first D back. So to complete a semicircle path, it has a T by 2 time, because to complete a one path, total T time is considered. So half path is covered in T by 2 time interval. So we can say that a T time, that is a period of complete revolution, is given by the frequency 1 upon Vc that we have already seen in earlier topic, that is equal to 2 pi m by qb. So Vc equal to qb upon 2 pi m. That is the frequency of cyclotron for the reason while they travel in that circular motion, and it is denoted by Vc. So the frequency Va of the applied voltage is adjusted so that the polarity of Ds is reversed in the same time that it takes the ion to complete a 1/2 of the revolution. So it is noted as a Va equal to Vc is called the resonance condition. Va is the frequency of the oscillator. It is applied from the input, and Vc is the frequency that charged particle takes to complete a one revolution. If these both frequencies are same, that is called as a resonance condition. So the phase of a supply is adjusted in such a manner that when positive ions arrived at the edge of D1, D2 is at a lower potential and the ions are accelerated across the gap. Right? So the phase is adjusted. When positive ion arrived at the edge of D1, matlab D1 has a positive ion, so D2 should have at the lower potential. So this is how the frequency is supposed to be matched. So inside the Ds, the particles travel in a region free of electric field. Within that D, electric field is not affected. So the increase in the kinetic energy is QV each time they cross from one D to another. So the radius of their path goes on increasing and the spiral kind of structure is given each time their kinetic energy is also increases due to the electric field is present and electron is accelerated through that electric field. So the ions are repeatedly accelerated and they have a required energy to have a radius approximately of the d's. So maximum radius of that spiral one is equivalent to the radius of the d's. So when they are then deflected by a magnetic field and leave the system via the exit slit as is shown in the figure. While their radius becomes equal to the radius of the circular path, spiral 1 is equal to the radius of the d, then that charged particle is relieving from that exit port. So that at that time it has a maximum energy, or we can say in terms of a nuclear energy, that much acceleration and energy it can accept, or till that level it has a energy is consumed. So at that time the velocity is qbr by m, and r is the radius of trajectory at exit and equal to the radius of the d. So here the kinetic energy, it goes with the maximum one. So it is equated with q square b square r square by 2m. So the operation of the cyclotron is based on the fact that the time for one revolution of an ion is independent of its speed or radius of its orbit. So cyclotron can be used in many of the applications. It can be used to bombard a nuclei with energetic particle. So it is accelerated and we can study the resulting nuclear reaction. It is also used to implant ions into the solids and modify their internal original properties, or we can synthesize, or we can create a new material by implanting another ions. It is also used in hospitals to produce a radioactive substance which can be used in diagnosis and treatment. Here one example we are going through it. A cyclotron's oscillator frequency is 10 megahertz. What should be the operating magnetic field for accelerating protons? If the radius of the Ds is 60 centimeter, what is the kinetic energy in mega electrovolt of the proton beams produced by the accelerator? Charge mp, the mass of the proton, and 1 mv, that measurement in the joule is already given. Now the oscillator frequency should be same as the proton cyclotron frequency, and that is B equals to 2 pi m V by Q. 2 pi equals to 2 into 3.14, so 6.28, generally 6.3. M is given 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27. V is given 10 megahertz frequency, so 10 into 10 raised to 6 hertz, so 10 raised to 7. Q is already given 1.6 into 10 raised to 19, so that would be 0.66 Tesla. So final velocity of proton is V equals to R into 2 pi V. R is again is given 0.60 centimeter, so converted into meter, 0.6 meter. 2 pi is 6.3, V is 10 raised to 7, so that would be 3.78 into 10 raised to 7 meter per second. So its kinetic energy E equals to 1/2 mv square. So that is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 7 m. V is 3.78 into 10 raised to 7, square of it, that is a 14.3 into 10 raised to 14 by 2. And that notation is given because we want kinetic energy in terms of mega electrovolt. So divide for the 1 MeV with the value 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 13. So that would be equal to 7 mega electrovolt. Clear? Here we are going to. So this is how, whatever the example I have explained, it is noted over here. Kindly go through it. Here we are going to end our session. Hope you understood. Thank you.